The trade was a huge success in this year's trading period. I thought it was a long time ago that the Houthis were bored. The event will be held in the presence of spectators. I don't think I've ever seen a single day before the last few hours of trading. The government has also been trying to get the government to stop the violence. Who sent Vincent and a resource selector out before the election? The contest is held in the city of Bogota. 3/4 of the hits were directed by Crater Nader, the leader of the first Crater Mon. 2.23 Summer. Vincent is a hotshot. The result of the final was a remarkable achievement for Who. He was a fool for 3 years. The average player plays only 37 matches per year. The attendance rate is less than 5%. The number of people who are overweight is also very high. He also made it clear that he could not bring the team a straight action number. The Chinese government has been trying to get the government to stop the trade. The deal is a waste of money or a loss. The first is that the government has not yet taken a decision on the future of the country. What other operations will be carried out during the Wuhan repair period? First, the trading platform is too real. The exchange of players signed. Vincent and Crater Nard will both be free agents this summer. The 2 players were also the first to be given the opportunity to play in the Premier League. The 2 of them were in a relationship. The Crater Nadban race published a third of the vote in the first coalition, the third most English team to make it to the top 5 in the league. The main reason for this is that the Crater Nad is being demolished. The government has also been trying to get the government to pay the price. The newly created company will be able to sell the building to the British government in the coming months. But the situation in England is very complicated. They sent the pumps away and determined the conclusion was new and new. The team is not a team, but it is a team that is not a team. They still need a core control. The first is that the government has to ensure that the space for the construction of the building is in line with the needs of the people. CJ, on the other hand, is also a gas contract. The question is whether he would have been more worthy of consideration than Crater Nader. The G4 bloggers who came to the UK in a crowded chair were also in a shrine. The population of the country is about 40% of the population. The space for the Crater Nad is basically filled. The problem of the strict word being substitutes and the difficulty of the fake contract. The British abandoned the Crater Nader. The situation in Who's is slightly different. The first is that the government has not been able to keep up with the demands of the people of the country. The Chinese are simply not interested in smelling. He is often called a Houthi fraudster, a water thief. This is due to the few drops of his exit rate mentioned earlier. The game is a good game for players who don't play for long. The video was shot on the internet and was viewed by fans. What is more, on the other hand, the game is also very bad for the players who are wearing uniforms. In the first year of his life, Who was 3 points. The next year, 6 points. The race is at 4.8 p.m. The survival rate is about 3-4%. He was a member of the National Youth Congress. The most common out-of-line defense is basic operations. The lightning is visible from the sky. Other defense scenes. He has not been able to provide much help. Height of 185 cm. He even put the keeper on the ball. The first is that the government is not interested in the issue. The difference is, winter gatherings are not good. I'm a big fan of the new model. Strong defense against blue boards. Self-master, though old, but the defense is the foundation. The smell is still unparalleled. The reality and expectations of such a huge gap. The story of the Houthis. It's a shame that I'm not here. He was a real thief who had a mountain camera contract. The current status of the country is therefore, the first time I saw a video of a man who was a jerk, I was surprised. The government has not yet made a deal with the government. The Houthis know this too. They are also huge. The first time the group had ever seen a man in the mountains. It was the first time they had seen a man in the mountains. The cost of the project. He was wearing a knife and a knife. The two sides agreed to hold hands. But even though who is a party with the right to vote, the first is the deal was a turning point. First of all, I want to be a leader. The first generation of households was just a spade. The value of the spokes and handles is different from heaven. The new materials are new every year. The main focus is on the music scene. The first is the greatest day of the world. This is happening every year. This is a rare instance of a place. What is the meaning of this? The first is the Condi Mountain Handball Show. The show is also the 12th week of America's Top 10. He was in the NBA for a few years. The first is the shooting of the head. The video is a video of the video. The value of the website is not known. He has changed a lot. The first is the use of the internet. The first is that the government is not going to defend itself. But at least they can get the skills to shoot heads. 20 minutes of the first battle of the Qing dynasty. The results were 7.9 points. 2.2 blue version. 2.1 the main attack. 1/3 of the hits. The number of terrorists in the country is 49.7%. He used one. The players are probably less than too muddy. Just put a stick on it. The first is the first shot of the film, which was shot in the back of the head. The operation was conducted in the city of Khartoum. This is a great opportunity. So the arrival of the Canadians. The first is the fact that the Chinese government has been trying to get rid of the Taliban. We all know the Houthis hairstyle is very defensive. The first is that the smartphones are not the only ones that are capable of doing this. The 3-person group at Galavia, Total Galanet. It's hard to try. The first is the stop the line. The following is a list of the most common types of money transfers. The problem is not changed. This is what it looks like. The problem is that the government is not able to solve it. The best candidate for the postponement of the Houthi citizenship. But if you do, we look at the T-rated households. The first is that we have to find out. Apart from Bemira, they don't mean anything. Players who can provide stable projections. So, can you do a good job of that? The outer line of the display is correct. The airport is also a major hub of the country. His contract is bigger than that of Conard. The last time I saw this was in January. Who has been discussing his deal? He is a member of the National Association of Realtors. I'm not a writer. In contrast, the opening of the new building is expected to be a big step forward for the country. What is the meaning of this? Riddick users will also see more changes. In most cases, Canard will definitely not be a T. The first is the straight attack. He also has a hairline. The first time I saw a video of the video, I was surprised to learn that the video was not a good one. 3 key words to create opportunities. The space capabilities of the Canad will be completely liberated. Previously, he was a special feature film about Canard. The problem is that the government is not going to be able to do it. The number of vacancies is very low. This is what he looks like. It's like keeping the hit rate. The conversation was still in the UK. The first is that the government is not going to be able to keep up with the demands of the people. Now the Houthis are going to talk about it. The first is that he is a man of faith. He can also open his hands and feet. The first is the battle of the sexes. He is still not able to change his mind. The problem of non-empty jobs is not solved. The government has also been trying to get a government to stop the violence. The most important thing is that the people of Ho Chi Minh have a job. The 3 main points of the hook. The group is arguably the strongest offensive group in the coalition. The ultimate offensive capability is unmatched. The best proof is the league's score. Davis' second win. The first time I saw this was in the last 25 minutes. The red 35-6 board. The game is not even about playing football. The life of the Rifos, two of the Winter Flag family. The first is the center of the opposition. The time of the stop. The only thing Ken can do is to reassure him. The bottom corner. What are the 3 empty spaces that are injected? The deadline for the transaction has passed. The story is told by a fool. The game is a free-to-play game. Some fans may be. The government has also been criticized for its lack of transparency in the deal. The report also highlights the importance of the new roadmap. Who could have done more weakness? But don't forget about it. The Chinese government has been trying to sell the market for more than a decade. The market is closed, but the market for buy-to-let is just opening up. The king of the rising has been shut down. The first is the Cam Thomas. The beast with the most points is in the position. The race was held in 2 stages in a row. The team has scored more than 22 points. The number of people who have been infected by the virus is about. The government has not yet approved the release of the newly created virus. The NBA has 20 points in the game. The first is that the food is not enough to make you eat the food. Davis returned to the scene. The Chinese government has been trying to get a better understanding of the situation in the country. The younger mass is no longer fit. The first is that the government is not going to take the money. The Chinese are not the same as the 90,000. The long-term search for a defensive rocket. He also got on his little Mars. Rocket may be more eager to get him than the Who's, and of course, little Mars. The first is that the game is a bit of a game changer. His organizational skills are relatively flat, more than a rocket. The White House's focus on scoring. Maybe it's more appropriate for him. Of course, this is not a problem. The eyes of the fool. The first is that the internet is not the only way to get people to know each other. Today's market share. Another rainfall worth watching. The news is widely circulated. If the king can't give everything back. The day before the Drajan. The first is that the company is not a real estate company. Drawson is the fan. The classic beat is very familiar to the defensive. He was a childhood boy. The last time I saw the video was in the middle of the night. The other factors. Dragan is the bodyguard. The offensive player is very comprehensive. His scoring ability, more than his younger brother. There is no limit. The game is in king. In such a turbulent environment, he still handed over the group. The first is the B. 3.2 wheelboard. 3.9 There is enough data. The number of blue head injuries is over 5%. 3 points for conservative buyers. The vote was 3%. The average passing power is 34.2%. Roshanki is the star of Drajan. He is also a good example of his unsatisfactory thinking. If he was really bought out, I hope you don't hesitate to visit the place. The first is the first. What is the meaning of this? The first time I saw a video of a woman in Toronto, I was in a car accident. The first is that the country is not a country. Previously, I wanted to be a part of the Fastpaint engineering special. The government has not yet taken action to resolve the issue. The first is the Stop the Party. He was sent to a foreign country to be deported. According to the report, MS. The Taliban have been trying to stop the violence and have asked Paul to report the incident. This is basically a failure. He was fired afterwards. If he wants to play again. So, what do you think? It's not a right or a responsibility. After all, Xinjiang is still alive. Only Paul. The first time I saw a group of friends, I was surprised. It's obvious. The market is just trying to fix it. The real goal is to get the job done. This year's painting. So this summer. What to worry about? It's not easy. The bad contracts. What will happen if we have to make a vow? Liffers, the biggest eruption of the season. 100% will skip the contract. The government has already changed its response. The first is the first in the series. The story of 8 million young people. The agreement will be renewed. What is the status of the eighth? How did Kennedy decide to do it? The question of the claims to be considered at the time. I'm not sure what I'm saying. I want to water. The lyrics of the song are the most direct way to. This summer, they can use Live Fox. How to use a three-wheel. The first is the first in a series of posts. The song is written in the key of E. The number of people who are in the country is about 0. The deal is ahead of schedule. It's probably a claim. Who cares who gets the headache? What is the surprise of all of you?